Welcome back to this Moneycontrol live stream. You're watching Closing Bell with me, Nandita. Another good day of trade, given the fact that we have ended above that 25,400 mark for the first time. It's a record close for the Nifty, although the moves were pretty range bound. The index ended higher by about 30 odd points, and the Sensex as well, although ended 80 points higher, but it was above that 83,000 mark nonetheless. But the broader end of the markets cooled off a bit today. Remember, the mid-cap index has been consistently hitting fresh highs. Even yesterday, it had made a fresh record, but today, some bit of breather coming in on the Nifty mid-cap index. Even the small-cap index, that was the underperformer today. 0.3%, kind of loss coming in on the small-cap index. But in terms of sectoral movers, you saw most of the sectors ending the day in the green, led by the Nifty Auto Pack. Two-wheelers had a good day today. They were speeding up in trade. The likes of Bajaj Auto, Hero Moto, both these stocks hitting fresh 52-week highs. So, autos were fairly buoyant because we started the day, with autos going downhill. But, midday around, it reversed its course, and we had two-wheelers doing well. So, auto pack, ending the day in the green. The Nifty Bank index also staged a good comeback from the day's low. Realty was another pocket that was on the gaining end. But on the losing end were the likes of PSU banks, pharma, metals. These are some of the pockets that were under pressure. Of course, markets are treading with caution, given the fact that the two-day FOMC meet gets underway tonight. Tomorrow, around 11:30 p.m., we'll be getting the decision from the US Fed. All eyes on whether or not the Fed, goes in for a 50 basis point rate cut or a 25 basis point. Expectations are that it would be a 25 basis point rate cut, and of course, Street will be watching out for the dot plot. What kind of a rate cut trajectory the US Central Bank is looking, for, or is watching out for, or will really, point out, for the rest of the year. That would be crucial because it should be in excess of 100 bips. That's what the Fed Watch tool is indicating. So if that happens, I don't think the markets will be disappointed with the 25 basis point rate cut. But some of the publications have also, kept a 50 basis point rate cut on their expectations. And, that is why, or that's what has got the street fairly excited, because we had the Dow, notching a record close yesterday. So markets are fairly excited ahead of the, Fed meet outcome. But for us, of course, it was a day of caution, range-bound moves. But nevertheless, we came very close to all-time highs of 25,447 or 445 or thereabouts. But didn't really manage to top that, and we didn't really manage to clock that 25,500 mark today as well. But nevertheless, a record close for the Nifty. In terms of individual movers, then, as I pointed out, both Hero Moto and Bajaj Auto have hit fresh 52-week highs today. Both the stocks were up in excess of 3% apiece. So Hero Moto was up 3%, Bajaj Auto was up in excess of 2%. You had Bharti Airtel, NTPC, some other auto names like M&M doing well. Aside of that, if you look at some private banking names, Kotak Bank and ICICI Bank held out. Even Bajaj Finance snapped out of its losing streak that it has been witnessing over the last few sessions. So Bajaj Finance also ended higher, although only 0.3% kind of gains there, but still it managed to come out of its losing streak. On the losing end, you had Tata Motors. There was a block deal in the counter, and the stock was clearly under pressure. Top Nifty loser, Adani Ports, Eicher Motors, Coal India, Tata Steel, JSW Steel. As I mentioned, metals were under pressure, and some of the FMCG names like ITC also under pressure. Divi's Lab, that was on the gaining end yesterday, saw some profit taking today. Bajaj Finserv also ended the day in the red. Let's then talk about, one stock that's, making headlines. It's Bajaj Housing Finance. This stock became a multi-bagger on listing day itself, because it listed at a premium of 114%, ended first day at a premium of 135%, and even today the stock rallied somewhere around 10% or thereabouts. So, it's been a dream debut for Bajaj Housing, and it continues, given the fact that it was once again a double-digit gain coming in on the stock price. But, just been a day and it has already earned a buy rating. Phillip Capital has initiated a buy, initiated coverage on the stock with a buy rating. Target price of 210 rupees, in fact, indicates a tripling of the share price from its IPO price. Of course, the brokerage has pointed out that the focus on desirable sweet spot of 50 lakh rupee ticket size home loan segment, that is something that addresses nearly 65% of the home loan market in India. And that, of course, puts this company or this stock also in a sweet spot according to Phillip Capital. And Phillip Capital has also said that the company is likely to have a balance sheet of over 2 lakh crores in just 3 years. What is going to aid this is the fact that credit costs over the near term is expected to remain benign, and the company's focus on building a low risk balance sheet could lead to a return on asset of somewhere around 2% and a return on equity of somewhere around 12%. Now, what should you really do? Because the stock has run up so much, it has already turned a multi-bagger, as I said. Should you really buy the stock? Well, analysts say, if you already have the stock, hold it for the long term. And in case you have missed out or missed the bus on the IPO, analysts are recommending cautious buying for the long term, which means that, look for good entry points before, buying the stock, but look at it from a long term perspective. In fact, Sanjeev Bajaj also pointed out that, he's projecting somewhere around 13 to 15% kind of growth rate for the industry in the coming years. And, their ambition is pretty clear. They have to outgrow industry growth. And, Sanjeev Bajaj also mentioned that, they are still a very small part of the larger market. And therefore, the opportunity for growth for Bajaj Housing remains extremely strong. Also, he's pointed out that their business remains reasonably well diversified even within the mortgage space. And they're giving retail home loans to various income segments as well. MC Pro, our Moneycontrol Pro research team, has also put together a note, and they've said that the company actually commands a premium valuation because of the solid track record of parent Bajaj Finance, and it remains to be seen how it really justifies current valuation given its thin margins and stiff competition in the housing finance space as well. So that was all about Bajaj Housing. Of course, already earned a buy rating, has become on itself. So let's see how things really pan out. But of course, things looking good for Bajaj Housing, and who knows, the entire housing finance space could be up for a re-rating after this particular listing. But on that note, let me just bring on board our guest for this afternoon. Joining me is Jay Thakkar, who's the head Derivatives and Quant Research at ICICI Securities. Jay, we've clocked in a record close yet again, although the moves are fairly range bound today. We came very close to all-time highs as well. Tomorrow is the all-important Fed decision. So Thursday is when we react. Do you expect another day of range-bound moves in the run-up to the Fed decision?
And we can see that range-bound session tomorrow as well. I mean, for sure. But I think that overall setup as of now, or the data as of now, Nandita, is suggesting that the probability of an upward breakout is higher from here on as well. And there are a couple of reasons for that, Nandita, which I'll come to. First is that Bank Nifty, the financials, which are the rate sensitive, right, they are going to be impacted on an immediate basis. I mean, they have provided technically an upward breakout. And as far as the derivatives data are concerned, we have seen some good short covering happening out there as well. Recently, I mean, not yesterday, but overall, if you see since past 1 week or so, FIs have turned positive again, and they've been buying in the cash segment as well as the derivative segment, apart from yesterday. And the options data too suggest that the writing which has happened on the lower side, we have seen a good base as compared to the call base which we had seen in Bank Nifty since past couple of months. That has changed. There's only one thing. I mean, that can be lead to some.
Jay, hang
upside.
on. There seems to be some audio issue at your end. There seems to be some disturbance. Let's try and fix that and come back to you. Our team will be in touch with you. But the other pocket that was, in focus today was the entire, gas spectrum of gas stocks, IGL and MGL. Of course, because it got an upgrade, UBS has upgraded IHL, in fact IGL rather, in Indraprastha Gas to buy from sell. And the target price has been raised to 700 rupees from 400 rupees per share. Now, the revised target price implies a potential upside of nearly 32% from yesterday's close price. The strong near-term fundamentals are now bolstered by promising inorganic growth prospects, according to UBS. Now, the earlier bearish outlook was really based on slower volume growth in the recent quarters and concerns about possible risks from electrification. But now UBS is expecting volume growth trajectory to improve going forward. It's expecting volume to improve from 4% on a YOY basis in FY24 to almost 8.2% compounded annual growth rate over FY24 to FY27. And expansion into newer geographies and infrastructure development are seen as key drivers for this growth. Now, potential merger and acquisition opportunities are not priced in by the street, according to UBS. When it comes to Mahanagar Gas, UBS has maintained its buy rating. The target price has been raised to 2,400 rupees per share from 1,600 rupees per share earlier. Here as well, UBS expects the volume growth trajectory to continue to surprise on the upside. And infrastructure development, expansion of the CNG fleet are some of the factors that are expected to drive volumes going forward. UBS has raised the FY25 to FY27 total volume expectations by 7 to 11%. And here as well, potential M&A opportunities have not been priced into the share price by the street. That's what UBS has maintained. But if you look at the stock movement, both the stocks haven't really done much over the last 2 months. But today, both these stocks saw good traction. So I would like to touch base with Jay and ask him whether or not this is indication of a fresh breakout on the charts of these two stocks or not. Let me just figure out if the audio issue is fixed with Jay. Jay, can you hear me? Okay, I think we are still fixing the audio issue with Jay, but Bajaj Auto, that was another stock that was in focus because it has launched Triumph's T4 and Speed 400, new motorcycles in the 400cc category. Of course, we know that Bajaj Auto was among the top Nifty gainers. Shares did hit a 52-week high today, up 3%. 1 month, on a 1 month basis, the stock has gone up by over 20%. Even Hero Moto, for that matter, hit a fresh 52-week high today, and the 1 month return here as well is 15%. But the other buzzer in today's session was Global Spirits. This stock, I think, cooled off from the day's high, but it did rise after its foray into the luxury whiskey segment. In fact, the new range has marked its foray into the high-end whiskey segment. Look at the stock that has seen a lot of fizz over the last 1 month. The stock has, in fact, rallied over 50% in the last 1 month. The other stock that was in focus was Torrent Power. It has signed an MOU with the Gujarat government. On the back of that, we saw good traction on that stock as well. The MOU was for execution of 5 gigawatt solar, wind or wind solar hybrid project in Dwarka. The stock is up somewhere around 6% in the last 1 month. But one stock that hit a fresh 52-week high was Blue Dart, and I want to check with Jay, what really to make out of this move on the charts of Blue Dart. Jay, is my voice reaching you?
This time.
Right. Jay, before we talk about, or before we get into other stocks, I want to ask you about Blue Dart in particular. What are you making of the kind of move we saw yesterday on this chart? The stock hit a fresh 52-week high. Is this a fresh breakout on the charts for Blue Dart?
Absolutely. See, Nandita, there is one interesting thing about the Blue Dart is that this stock is now ready to provide a breakout above the levels of October 22. So the highs which were made in October 22 were around 96.40, and it has taken off those highs. So that's been almost after 2 years, and that clearly confirms on a quarterly chart a higher tops and higher bottom. So yes, it's a fresh breakout. On the monthly chart, we have seen the momentum cycle turn on the bullish side. So yes, you can consider this as a positive breakout on the upside. Now on the low side, 8400 positionally will act as a very crucial support till those levels are held. The probability of an upside from here on is quite high, and the stock will be soon in 5 digits.
Okay, the stock will be soon in 5 digits. But what about the likes of Bajaj Auto and Hero Moto? Both the stocks hit a fresh 52-week high. Of course, there was a new launch, Triumph 400cc bikes that were launched by Bajaj Auto today. So good traction coming in, 3% gain. and both the two wheelers, Hero and Bajaj, have done well over the last 1 month. So here, what should one do really on both these stocks?
But I'll say, Nandita, that both of these two-wheeler stocks are well in an upward momentum. We are seeing continuously long build-up on the F&O segment, and the cycle out there has been positive, and it's been outperforming the auto sector. If you see, Nifty auto sector had seen a good short build-up in the September series. But as far as Hero and Bajaj are concerned, I mean, they are outperforming the auto index. There has been shorts in auto index, whereas there has been long in the two-wheeler segments. So they're out and out outperforming the four-wheeler space, and I think the rally is likely to continue. I mean, at least until the end of the September series, because we're always seeing this long cycle. As far as Hero is concerned, the risk reward is although better than Hero MotoCorp. I think that with today's move now, 5,900 is a very crucial support on an immediate basis. On the upside, 6,200 looks quite likely in this series as well. But then Bajaj is also in an uptrend. However, risk reward is still favoring Hero MotoCorp for me right now. But as far as levels are concerned, I think that 11,700 now will act as a crucial support on Bajaj Auto.
Okay, Hero of course provides a better risk reward, but want to talk about the some of the gas stocks as well, because they saw good action today. Most of them were dormant over the last 1 month or so. Today's move was, of course, triggered by the the UBS note on these stocks, where UBS has upgraded IGL. But do you see this as a renewed up move, or do you think it was just a one-off, and there could not be, or there may not be much more upside from here?
Oh, see, Nandita, my stance on the stocks from the gas sector or oil and gas sector is positive overall. I think that the overall index is still likely to bounce back. It's just that the from the oil and gas sector, those who are quite dependent on the oil, we have seen the weakness coming in there. So maybe the land, because it can impact its GRM margins. So maybe we have seen the underperformance coming from the oil marketing companies. As far as those companies related to gas, clearly are outperforming right now, and the momentum out there is still likely to be bullish. We have seen a good long build-up out there, be it the IGL, NGL, for that matter, even Gujarat Gas. It has seen some profit booking from the high levels, but overall outlook is positive. So from all of these stocks, I believe that IGL and MGL has still a better setup. IGL did witness some profit booking from the high levels, but the outlook is bullish in the near term. So I'm bullish on all of these three stocks. I think that the rally is likely to extend going forward from here on as well.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. What about Global Spirits? It has made a foray into luxury whiskey segment. The stock did see good traction, but cooled off from the day's high. How are you reading into the charts? Because over the last 1 month, the stock has done very well, in high spirits, so
Yeah,
to say.
yeah, it's on its high, and I agree with you. And I'm sure that it will continue to remain positive. See, Nandita, most importantly, the stock has provided technically very good breakout from a downtrend line resistance, and that trend line resistance is as long as almost 2.5, 3 years now, because stock had topped somewhere in January 22, and now it has provided a breakout of from that range or from that trend in August 24, or late end of August 24. So I think it's more than 2.5 years of consolidation which we have seen now. This breakout has come with an increase in volume, a clear bullish crossover in its momentum indicators with a positive divergence, and the monthly cycle has now reversed. I think it's real time for the global spirits to remain high and provide good returns going forward. I'm sure that this stock is likely to inch towards the levels of its all-time high, which is 1759 plus, at least in the medium to long term. And the risk reward is quite favorable. I think that now the support on the low side, Nandita, is somewhere around 1100 or so. So you see, its downside risk is 200. The upside potential is almost like 4 to 500 points. The risk reward is more than 1:2 in the medium term.
Okay. Okay. Last stock really on my list is Nuvoco Vistas. This stock has been flat over the last 3 months, but has seen good traction over the last 1 month. But any thoughts on where it's headed, and whether the risk reward here is looking a little more attractive now?
As far as the cement sector is concerned, we've seen a good short touring coming in. I mean, most of the stocks, if you see, I mean, maybe ACC or maybe Ultratech. Ambuja has not seen much of short covering yet. In fact, the stocks like JK Cement, we've seen a good long build up in the September series. So more or less, I mean, as far as the cement sector stocks in FMO are concerned, we've seen more or less a short covering or long build up apart from Ambuja Cement. And as far as Nuvoco is concerned, because that's not in agro segment, but it's in the equity cash
Hmm.
segment. But still, trying to gauge the trend from the FMO segment, the trend is positive in the near term. And as far as technical setup for Nuvoco is concerned, Nandita, it has provided a breakout from a falling channel. The indicators are quite positive on the weekly, monthly charts. It's just that once it takes off the levels of say 400 on the upside, above 400, I think there is no stoppage at least until 500 plus levels. So the further momentum will be gained above 400 levels.
Okay, further momentum expected here. But before I let you go, Jay, what would your trading picks be for tomorrow or for the coming few sessions?
Well, sure. I would say that my bias on the banking side is, quite bullish. I would say that recent breakout has clearly shifted the stance from bearish or sideways to positive, and the probability of 53,000 looks quite likely. The risk reward is positive, and 51,500 is an immediate support. So, IndusInd Bank is a bullish or a buy recommendation. 1472 is where it closed today in the cash segment. One can place a stop loss below 1440, target 1500, 1525 in the near term, and positionally one can target 1575 as well. So, from the private sector bank, IndusInd Bank is where I'm bullish. Secondly, as far as the IT names are concerned, I'm bullish there as well on emphasis. I think that emphasis is likely to do good from here on. The stock seems to be consolidating now, right now within the range of say 3,200 to 3,000, but the range is likely to provide a record on the upside. So positional point of view, emphasis looks bullish. But one can buy this with a stop loss of 3,090, targeting 3,400 on the upside. So one from the IT pack and another from the banking pack.
All right, got it. Jay, I beg your pardon. With that, we've come to the end of this edition of Closing Bell. We'd like to thank you for taking out time and joining in this afternoon. Look forward to more
Pleasure.
interactions with you in future.
Sure, Nandita, it's always a pleasure and
Well,
looking forward.
thank you, thank you. Well, with that, we've come to the end of this edition of Closing Bell. Of course, it was a flattish close, but nonetheless, we ended, past that 25,400 mark for the first time. So it was a record close on the index. And tomorrow, of course, another day of caution ahead of the Fed's decision on interest rates that will be declared later tomorrow night. Of course, we'll be reacting to it on Thursday. But with that, completely timed out on this edition of Closing Bell. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Stay tuned to Money Control for all your other news and updates.